What is up, fully charged GCG? Today we are jumping into the wonderful world of Blackbeard. Now, this is not a fully optimized list. I do not believe that the current version of the sim has all of the Blackbeard cards. Therefore, this is kind of a whipped together list. With that being said, it is not the most optimized. Therefore, I will not be showing you a deck profile because, to be honest, if you try to play this deck profile, you'll probably get wrecked. And I'm not trying to, mislead anybody. So here we are. We have a game against Shanks. I go ahead and I do. He goes ahead and he minuses my leader, and I activate the Black Hole effect or Blackbeard's effect by pitching a card. And then I'm kind of thinking through my plays, and I just pass turn with 3 standing. I did establish the character that allows me to rest him and KO 1 drop, and if they KO him, he is going to draw me a card. He goes ahead and plays a Yosap, I don't know how to say the name, who has a on play and a win attacking, but the on play doesn't get to trigger. I then go ahead and drop a Laboon, and I'm able to completely remove him. I black hole again, and then I go ahead and I'm like, you know what? I'm debating, do I want to leave 2 up, but I don't believe I'm going to need the event card, the Black Spiral. So I just kind of swing for 7 into the Shanks. So far, I feel pretty in control because right now, if he were to swing at my character to KO him, I would get to draw a card. And my Laboon, he does drop the stage, the new event stage, that allows him to give minus 1,000, taking my Laboon down to a 4,000. And that kind of puts me in a weird spot if he dawns at all to just kind of KO my Laboon. Right now, if he were to poke for 5 into 4, I could go ahead and just 2K. But he is smart, and he wants to make sure Laboon is gone. So he just goes full 8K swing and then establishes essentially the red-haired pirates version of Gordon. I'm able to instantly remove 1. That's why he established 2, which is smart. He was thinking ahead there. I'm kind of debating here what to do. I'm on 8 Dawn. I have a Blackbeard in my hand. I'm going to go ahead and poke for 7. And then, if I'm not mistaken, I establish a Borsalino here. But first, I'm going to activate my leader effect, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, I'm going to go ahead and pitch. And then I'm going to go ahead and play Borsalino. Borsalino is the best blocker. I can say for certain you need to run probably 4 Borsalino inside of any Blackbeard build. He doesn't have any on-play effects, and he simply can... Normally, I would be all for the Sabo blocker, but no on-play effects inside of Blackbeard, so Sabo doesn't really do anything. So yeah, gives you an unkillable blocker on your opponent's turn. Borsalino is great. He's going to go ahead and swing with his Gordon-esque character. It's going to allow me to draw. I draw into a 2K. Pretty good. He's going to minus my Borsalino back down to 5. I like that stage. It's pretty decent. The free minus is just kind of good every turn. And I like that. He's going to dawn up and he's going to swing 9. Right here, I'm like thinking. Do I want to take this? And I know that next turn I'm going to be dropping Blackbeard, so it makes sense for me to just go ahead, do the minus 4,000 event, or event card, and then go ahead and give a 1K just to get out of that attack, remain myself at 3 lives, and be able to just kind of chug forward like that. He's going to go ahead and just drop a card, don't get any on-play effects, pass turn. Another Yasap. I'm going to go ahead here, and it's pretty clear. I'm going to drop Blackbeard, and I'm going to hit the Yasap because Yasap, I think that's how you say it. I'm going to hit both of them, so he cannot attack. He has a win attacking effect, and then I'm also going to nullify the Shanks effect, which is pretty good. I'm going to discard to make sure that he has no on-play effects. Then I'm going to poke for 5, and I'm like, okay, cool, pass turn. Because at this point, I am kind of chilling. I have a 12,000 power blocker, and I have a 6,000 blocker that cannot be KO'd by effects. So that's pretty good. He drops the Rush Shanks. He gets everything minus 1,000. Really good card, in my opinion. Because like this, he would then be able to KO my Blackbeard if I blocked with it without having to invest any Dawn if I didn't want to combo out, which is really good. I would have to invest a lot more combo power into saving my Blackbeard, I should say. So he swings for 12. Just going to take it because, yeah, screw that. He thinks about attacking, then doesn't because he realizes I'm just going to block for free. I still would have swung just to skill check my opponent and see like, hey, are you actually know what you're doing or not? Because some people would 100% still combo and not activate blocker for whatever reason. Okay, so I'm kind of trying to decide, hey, what should I do here? And I'm like, well, he has 3 life. Let me go ahead and just swing really big into his shanks, 17 to 12. I don't want that shanks to stay on board. For every turn that shanks is on board, I am just losing value, and he has a big fat swinger, so want to remove him. Then I'm like, okay, I can just go ahead and swing 9 at lead, and hopefully he'll take. He does. And then now I'm just going to go ahead and activate Black Hole again. Right here is when I start to see just how powerful Blackbeard's effect is. It is really, really powerful, guys. And yeah, and this isn't even an optimized version of the deck. So I'm kind of sitting here feeling like, okay, I have 4 cards in hand. This is the only downside. You can see we're both at 2 lives. We both have 2 characters. Mind you, my characters are way better than the characters he has. And he has way more cards in hand than me. Blackbeard does start to run low on cards, at least in this less optimized version before we have all the access all the cards. But we're both at 2 lives. And I'm like, okay, I have 3 2Ks in my hands though. So I'm feeling pretty comfortable that he's not going to be able to like really kill me or anything this turn. But I do know that eventually slim pickings are coming. He takes forever deciding what to do, and I apologize for that. Then he goes ahead and swings 6. This is an easy 2K. Might as well. Then he's going to go ahead and swing 5. This is another easy 1K. I'm trying to decide. I was trying to remember what I did here. I do go ahead and just give it to Laboon to go down 2 cards. He plays this ace, but it doesn't get any on-play effect, so it's just a 10 for 12 vanilla. I go ahead and search. Can't take anything. End up just trashing 2 jacks there. And I'm like, okay, I only have 2 cards left. He now has a big body on board. How do I want to play this? Well, let me go ahead and start with a... There's my wife texting me. Yes, I call her Love Bunny. She was letting me know she ordered B-dubs, and it cost us 20 bucks. Thanks, hon. B-dubs were delicious that day. So I dawn up, and I have 4 dawn on my leader, and I swing for 9 to see if my opponent will take or not. And they do take. So I'm like, okay, cool. They take. So I might as well go ahead and swing with my big old Borsalino, because I'm sitting here thinking they took that one. Maybe they'll take this 10. Maybe they just don't have it in hand. And they end up really contemplating what they want to do here. But I know they end up taking. And so then I'm like, you know what? Let's go for game. Let's pressure for 12. And they minus me down to 11. Boom, 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 bam. I win that game.
Good.
And here we are.
You don't have to.
Jumping into game 2. We're against Black Purple Luffy, Gear 5 Luffy. I honestly think that this Gear 5 Luffy deck is really, really good. He starts off with a searcher, and I'm like, okay, cool. I have a searcher. Let's go ahead and do my own little search. And I'm like, cool, I can go ahead and take this 1K. I can't play him, or this 2 costs, I can't play him. This card is really, really good. That 2 costs I took, that's the one that allows me to KO something every single turn, and then if they KO it, I get to draw one. Then he goes ahead and plays the Zoro.
Exactly.
I didn't Black Hole.
Copyright laws are notoriously
honestly, whatever they play on 3 Dawn, I just didn't feel like it was worth the sacrificing the card out of my hand. So I was like, you know what? That's fine. I'm going to let him get his on-play effect. So that's why I didn't Black Hole. Because now I have an extra card in my hand to essentially start doing my effect and try to keep a bigger hand size. So I'm really contemplating what I want to do.
It did.
And I'm like, you know what?
I decided it was worth the risk.
Maybe the best thing to do is just swing 7, and that's what I do. Then, if I'm not mistaken, I play the Black Hole effect because you have to, and I deploy my character. It allows me to KO. That guy is busted. His name escapes me. I know he's like the sick doctor that rides the horse, but that card feels so busted. A 2 cost, you can just constantly KO your opponent's one or lesses, and you're negating them down. And then if they KO it, it just gives you an extra card, so you don't even mind. He swings 6, and I go ahead and I just go ahead and counter out of that. He swings 6 again, and I go ahead and take that one because I want to keep a big hand size because I want to be able to do a leader effect. He then plays the Zoro with on play that lets him search, but he doesn't get to search. We're just cutting off those abilities. I'm like, okay, pretty cool. I do top deck the Laboon, and Laboon goes so hard in this deck, and then I'm able to just KO the Zoro he played instantly, put 7, and swing into the other Zoro, and he lets it go. And then I'm like, cool, let me just black hole again. My hand is all 2Ks and it has a Porcelino. I do think, you'll see that I'm running Tashiki in this deck. I think this is a pretty good 2K for the deck because it has an activate main minus effect. But I need to look through the other Blackbeard stuff. There may be something better that I can play in the spot. However, I do believe that Laboon will probably end up inside of my Blackbeard build. In some capacity, even as just maybe a 2 of. Right now, he's a 4 of. He swings into Laboon for 9K. He really wants that thing gone, and I go ahead and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna let it go.
Anyway, for what it's
and
worth,
then he drops
Goulds dropping the whole thing.
So I'm like, okay, cool. Let's see what we can do here.
I always thought we'd win.
Kind of considering what's going on.
Robert,
and
you okay?
I'm like, let me think about this because this matchup actually can be kind of tough. And I'm like, okay, I have 7 here. I'm gonna go ahead and do the Tashiki to minus the Brook down. And if I'm not mistaken, I actually double Tashiki. Yep, and I minus the Brook again. This is gonna allow me to just KO that Brook. Super solid. And then I go to Black Hole effect. I'm gonna get rid of the Black Spiral, I believe it's called, the event card, because sometimes you are just curving out in a way that you can't always leave 2 up for it. So I am like, okay, this is fine. I'll totally just pitch it and hold on to my Porcelino, my 2Ks. He's kind of trying to consider what he's going to do here. He's on 10 Dawn, so normally this is where you would drop
Heading home for the night?
your Gear 5 Luffy or one of your Rush Luffy. But that Rush Luffy, it's an on-play effect that gives him Rush and allows him to draw a card.
Like you said the other
and
night,
he isn't getting on-play effects. So he really has to think, like, what am I going to do? I can't really drop Sanji, Rush Sanji. I can't drop the Rush Luffy because those are all on-play effects. So he starts off with a 4K swing. I give up the Porcelino because I'm like, you know what? If I can keep both these Tashikis around, this is going to get nasty for him.
I really need to get home with Julie. And
then he's going to go ahead and just swing 6. I let the 1 go.
The baby, of course.
I kind of figured that, hey,
think about it.
I probably only need 1.
It's okay.
And he drops the Sanji, and I'm like, cool, I have an Ice Age. So let's just Ice Age the Sanji. I did get a couple lucky top decks, I'm not going to lie. But I minus the Sanji to death, KO the Sanji, and then I'm like, well, we might as well just swing with dang near everything. So I'm like, yeah, really thinking this through. I kept kind of my Dawn. I was trying to decide here because I'm like, okay, this is
not really good.
This feels like I don't want to over Dawn, but also like I have nothing to use my Dawn, like my Dawn on. So I went ahead and just did that because I was kind of contemplating whether or not I wanted to play the 3 cost right there. And I went ahead and did effect and played 3 cost because I just want to establish as many bodies as I can. I'm not worried about him dropping Rusher because he can't rush. I'm not worried about Gear 5 Luffy taking the second turn because that on play effect doesn't trigger either. So essentially I can go to 0 knowing that he can only take 1 card off the board or he can only take 1 life. And I was pretty comfortable with that. I wanted to establish as many bodies as I could. That felt like the right move. But as you can see, here I am. Obviously, once again, suboptimal build, but I'm at 0 cards in my hand. So this is kind of scary, but I do have 3 lives. But then I get the top deck of Blackbeard, and I'm like, oh,
I did think to ask Alex, and I chose to ask you. And I did that because it comes down
let's
to
do that
the
then.
promise was made to
And let's make it where his Zoro
gender
cannot
of the
attack.
person
And then I KO the Law Searcher just because I don't want to give him an easy dawn up and attack kind of situation going. So yeah, I do that. So now I have a 12K blocker on my side of the field.
You're a lawyer,
and
you make it airtight.
he does have on-play effects though.
You really make a person get to the bottom of what's
becomes the
inside
scary
of them,
part.
don't you?
However, he only has
when you put it that way,
the Luffy that can attack. The Zoro has been nullified, but here comes the Gear 5 Luffy.
The truth is,
and
I'm not backing down.
The thing is that even with the Gear 5 Luffy, chances of him
I'm not
closing
gonna
out
say
the
that I'm
game is not going to work. And then for whatever
Then I
reason,
respect your decision.
he didn't activate the
Good night,
effect. And I don't know why, because did I pitch a card last turn for the effect? Is that why? Did I miss see that? I thought I didn't have a card to pitch because I just topped deck Blackbeard. So I have no idea why he didn't take the second turn. But he chose not to. So, you know, I was like, okay. I do play the Shishiki because I realized I can go ahead and kill the Zoro, and that feels pretty good.
Something wrong?
And then I go ahead and
they spell
swing for
Venom with one
8
T
with
again?
leader.
No, nothing's wrong.
So I don't know what he was thinking. I just
been a
maybe
long
he
day
thought
and I'm
that
tired.
going to Zero Dawn was just too dangerous, even though he would have gotten
I know you.
2 back
don't
after
get
off
tired
of
after
leader
winning, okay?
effect, and then
Something
he would have been able to get another one off of his Gear 5 Luffy. So I'm not sure why he didn't
I
activate
know
effect.
I should be happy
But
right now.
kind of gave me the easy,
finally
hey,
made it
I'll
to the
take one
top of the
because,
mountain.
you know,
I get it.
I
need to realize how
am
much
okay
further
right
you still
now.
wanna
He
go.
dropped Sanji. Even
Yes,
with Sanji, though,
that's it.
now, it kind of doesn't
exactly.
matter because, one, I have a 12k blocker.
No,
and
it's not it.
2,
I've
I'm
seen that
okay
look
with going to
before,
0
and
at
it was
this
on my
point.
face, Katrina.
Like, I'm really okay with going to
When it
0.
comes to that part of life,
So I go ahead and take another life. I'm like, okay, if
You
you swing
can't
for this
force
12
it.
drop Luffy, that's fine. I'll take and go to 0. It gave me 3 cards in hand, kind of refilled it.
Hate unpredictable.
I know.
I have a Laboon now, so I kind of expected him to drop a
told me
blocker,
that
and
someday
he just ended
I
up
would
dropping a
find
Zoro
someone.
and searching for another card. And
I
this
did.
is just game right here.
you will too.
There's nothing. There's like
Life is gonna put that
seriously, I would
special
have to
someone right in
majorly
front of you
misplay
when it
to
happens.
not kill
I
him
know you'll be
here.
ready.
So I go ahead and play, and I decided to go ahead and activate the effect and
just
see if I can get 2 better cards. I get
I
into
never
the
took you out to
Blackbeard and
celebrate
I
your
drop
promotion.
Kaido.
What do you say we go out and get dinner right now?
So I
Another time.
didn't really get any more combo power in my hand.
some work to catch
Swing
up.
7, he has to take, and then, you know, we can just swing for a quick, easy 16 to clear out the game. And yeah, just got to win that one. And here we are going into our third and final game. This one was interesting. I was playing against Nico Robin. The leader has Banish, if you didn't know. And then it has another effect, which at this moment escapes me. I'm sorry, guys. I just got back from the Peoria Dragon Ball Super Fusion World Tournament, and I am exhausted. I had to drive 3 hours back after playing that regional. I did get top 16, though. Yay! My second serial number Goku. Anyways, enough about that. We're in this final stretch of this video, and I'm exhausted, so bear with me here. But yeah, we're kind of playing it out. He swings here for 5 with Banish. I had honestly forgotten that the leader had banished off that first swing. So I took, and then I was like, oh, yeah, Nico Robin has banished. My bad. So I was like, okay, cool. Well, let me swing for 5 and see if he takes. He goes ahead and gives a 6 cost, or gives a 1k, sorry, a Nonami, and I was like, okay, cool, that's fine. I'm kind of debating what I want to do here. Who do I want to play? I really wanted to test out some of these other cards, but I just knew that most optimal play was to just play the Borsalino. So, like, you see me kind of debate dropping that 2k, and I was like, nah, Borsalino is just what I have to play, and I'm trying to win. So I went ahead and did that, and then I activated Black Hole, because at this point, she is on her 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Dawn turn, and I just know that yellow has a lot of good on-play effects. So from this moment on, I'm going to try to prevent yellow from using any of its on-play effects. That becomes the #1 priority. So he's really thinking out what he wants to do, or she, I don't really know, because the name is Pirate33054. Loads up 11 and just swings with a Banish 11k. I was like, I'll go ahead and block this because you used a whole turn of Dawn. I'm willing to sacrifice my 4 Dawn that I used last turn and trade for your entire 6 Dawn. Then I go ahead and just swing 7. He's kind of debating here on if he wants to take or not, and I'm just sitting there thinking like, okay, he doesn't want to take. I was like, okay, he's trying to keep his life up. Let me go ahead and Black Hole again, and then let me go ahead and deploy another Borsalino, because at this point I'm just trying to mitigate their leader effect, and I think that it's a mistake to treat Banish Nico as the same as Double Strike Yamato, where you're just going to try to make sure to force those leader swings through. I just don't think that's the right play. I think that you should use it more as a value system where you're basically telling your opponent, hey, you have to give up a card in one shape or another. Then he goes in and drops 7-cost Mom and gets 0 value because I nullified its effect. I go ahead and give him a 2K because a 6K swing, I have a 2K, that's pretty easy. I'm also running the 2K Garp in here as a test card. Just because another 2K with a when attacking effect, that's okay, and I just wanted to give it a shot. So that's why you see him in here. A lot of these cards are just test cards I sprinkled in the deck to see which ones I like. So far, Laboon A++. I go ahead and activate effect, and I pitch the Toshiki. Honestly, I shouldn't have pitched Toshiki. I should have pitched Garp because Toshiki is actually useful and Garp kind of isn't. Then I just load up and swing for 13. I'm basically just like, you know what, you're gonna take a life. I'm down to 3 cards in hand though. However, 10 on turn, and you don't have any on-play effects. Normally this is where yellow would be incredibly scary. You know, he could 9-cost Yamato, he could whatever. He goes and opts for the Luffy, just plays it down. I'm okay with this because my Borsalino is on-KO'able. However, he could just trigger it to get the draw, but opted to not do that. Actually, he's only at 3 life, so never mind. He has to be at 2. Swings for 10, and I go ahead and let it go because I kind of want to keep this Borsalino as a potential attacker. So I kind of want to keep that. So that's why I was kind of like, no, I'll go ahead and pitch. So I have 2 10-drop Blackbeards. This is where I think Blackbeard might be disgusting, is when you can begin to comfortably chain 10-cost Blackbeards. So like right now I deploy it. His 7-cost Linlin is nullified and cannot attack, and his leader is nullified, which honestly does not matter. Does not matter. So on defense at least. And now I remember like what the Nico Robin does. It does ramp when you attack. You can pitch a card with trigger and ramp. So that just came back to me. I apologize. I'm super tired. He drops a Kikunojo. I'm thinking, okay, this is interesting. In my mind, I'm thinking I can still KO this card by just nullifying its effect with Blackbeard and having something KO it. But then I'm like, wait, I don't have nothing to KO it on the fort field right now. So okay, kind of makes sense. I get it. But at the same time, I just don't think Kikunojo is something to really worry about. He swings for 10, and I just go ahead and free block because, you know, that's free. That's easy. You swing for 10. I'm a 12K blocker. You shouldn't have done that. And then he swings for 6, and I just combo to 7. In reality, he should have split that Dawn between his leader and his Luffy. That way, one of those attacks would have potentially went through, or I would have had to give up Borsalino. But I digress. I'm like, okay, cool. Right now, dropping 10-cost Blackbeard just makes the most sense. So I'm like, okay, how do I want to go about it though? Do I want to poke? Do I want to attack with, you know, my other Blackbeard? I'm kind of just thinking this out, looking over his cards for a second. And ultimately, I decide to swing for 5 with my leader. He has 3 lives remaining and 4 cards in hand, so feeling in a pretty okay spot. He goes ahead and gives me a 1K. I'm like, cool. Let me go ahead and drop this Blackbeard real quick and make it where you are not going to be able to tackle that Linlin again. I just want to keep that 8K swing from coming at my face. And then I'm like, you know what? I have 2 blockers and 2 cards in hand. Even though one of them's dead, he doesn't know that. So I'm going to go ahead and swing for 12. He ends up taking that and going down to 2 life. I'm kind of looking at his drop. He ends up triggering the KO, and I'm like, oh, that's really good. So then I go ahead and activate my leader effect because he got rid of Borsalino. And I was like, yeah, that's a pretty darn good to get rid of Borsalino there. However, because no on-play effects are able to be used, and because I stopped that Linlin, he only has 3 attacks. I have a blocker and 2 life, so I'm kind of chilling. Plus, I have a 2K in hand, so if he missed Dawns, he swings for 6 or something, I can always get out of it with that 2K. This matchup was feeling really close. He loads up on his Linlin, and I didn't understand this whatsoever because Linlin can't attack. At least I thought Linlin couldn't attack. And I'm sitting there thinking like, wait, what? Let me free block with my guy. And I'm sitting there kind of staring. He swings with Luffy. That's an easy 2K if I want to resolve it. And I'll go ahead and just take it. Third Blackbeard. He swings, and I'm like, okay, now it's time for me to probably go ahead. And I really contemplate. I'll give it to 2K. And then I think he forgot his Linlin couldn't attack. Yeah, don't make that mistake in real life. Pay attention, kids. So now I'm sitting there going, yep, third Blackbeard. I'm dropping the third Blackbeard. I'm just thinking, yeah, this game is just swung heavily in my favor because, you know, 3 Blackbeards are pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. And I'm kind of debating. I didn't know if I wanted to swing with any of my Blackbeards, if I wanted to pitch a card. But I'm like, you know what? Let me go ahead and swing for 5K and see what he does. Because if he takes this, that means he probably doesn't have a lot of combo in hand. He gets out of it. I can't finish him off. So I'm like, okay, what do I do here? I'm looking going, I have 3 12K blockers right now that he has no real way of removing. So I'm feeling pretty comfortable, but at the same time, I'm down to 1 life, 1 card. I've prevented that Linlin from swinging for 3 turns, plus I nullified its effect on the turn it was played. So he's got an absolutely 0 value from that card all game. And that is the thing that I think I love about Blackbeard, but that I also understand a lot of people are gonna hate. So, you know, sometimes it is what it is. So kind of debating here. He loads up and he swings for 12 because I can either take or I can let it go. But I realize, like, if I let it go, his other 2 attacks can't go through. So I'm going to let it go. I'm going to go down to 0 because as of right now, he has 2 lives and I have 3 12Ks and my leader swing. So even if he establishes a blocker here, the way I kind of view it is I only need 3 of these swings to go through. And, you know, yeah. So when he passes without establishing a blocker, I thought this is honestly pretty easy. I throw 3 on my guy and I was going to attack with him first, but then I was like, you know what? No, let me go ahead and attach some to my leader. Now I did misplay here because obviously a Beige trigger would have really hurt. I would have wasted all that Dawn that I attached to that Blackbeard. But at the same time, I was kind of like relieved when he comboed out of it, but at the same time I wasn't really thinking about Beige in this moment. So you got to always be thinking about Beige though, but I don't even think Beige would have really been enough, to be honest. But I swing through and then it's just a nice easy 15K swing for game. No way for him to combo out of it. So that was pretty intense. Thank you guys for watching.